Hello beautiful people and welcome to another enthralling episode of TechSpert Weekly, and this week it's an absolute corker if I do say so myself. And yeah, I am slightly biased, and yeah, I have had a skinful, but I'm fine mate, I'm absolutely alright, no worries, I'm fine, just give me the keys, I'm fine. Tech hijinks this week include an actual launch from chief hype artist Nothing, as its phone is finally officially revealed, after being unofficially revealed about 24 times these past few months. We've also got some proper retro tech from that lovely Nokia lot, including a feature phone with a hidden surprise lurking around back. And we take a good hard look at the upcoming Zenfone 9 from Asus, which could well be the best bloody phone of 2022, don't you know? So no time to just sit around here yapping on, jingle it just a little bit. TechSpert Weekly! So the Nothing phone was finally launched this week, and we already knew all the specs except for maybe the ultra-wide camera and a couple of other bits, and yeah, they did keep that f***ing awful machine gun / woodpecker on acid ringtone. Full coverage of the phone coming soon, but I did attend the launch party which took place in a random side street up around King's Cross area, had a few beers, the choice was between Peroni and Amstel, pretty standard for a tech launch. You could also have yourself an Aperol Spritz, but they were charging for those, so frankly they could get right proper f***ed. So overall I'd give it about a 3 out of 5, and that's the Nothing news. Anyway, now that all that Nothing stuff is out of the way, we've got to set our sights on the next big exciting smartphone launch of 2022, and my personal vote definitely goes for the Asus Zenfone 9, which should hopefully be rocking up at the very arse end of July. Thanks to a massive leak, we know the Zenfone 9 sticks with a compact design, sporting a 5.9-inch screen, making it even dinkier than the brilliant Xiaomi 12, the Pixel 6a, and most other mini blows of 2022. However, while last year's Zenfone 8 played it safe with a smart but simple design, the Zenfone 9 sports a bold new look, as if it's screaming, "Hey f***o, look at me." You got a choice of 4 colours here, and while the phone is on the small side, Asus has packed some impressive tech inside, including Qualcomm's fresh Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset and a respectably sized 4300 mAh battery. So here's hoping we'll actually get some decent battery life out of the Zenfone 9, unlike last year's Zenfone 8, which was usually on its arse around tea time. Of course, that had a smaller 4000 mAh battery, and hopefully a few little optimizations here and there, and that energy efficient 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset will mean we can make it all the way through until we're tucked up with Teddy and still have some juice in the tank. My only other concern then is that the Zenfone 9 might prove to be an overheating nightmare, considering it's got that powerful chipset crammed into such a small chassis. That said, Xiaomi managed to, get a really compact phone running the 8 Gen 1 beautifully with its own cooling tech, and of course Asus is a master of cooling, so fingers crossed all will be well. The Zenfone 9's screen appears to be a 120Hz AMOLED panel built by Samsung with Full HD Plus resolution, and it should be an LTPO effort, so the refresh can also drop to preserve battery life, hooray! Meanwhile, on the back end, you've got Sony's ever-dependable IMX766 sensor sat inside a gimbal setup for solid low-light results. And the rest of the specs are pretty bloody lush and all. You've got IP68 water resistance, you've got an actual headphone jack on there, which is pretty rare for anything above sort of mid-range. Got stereo speakers, a physical fingerprint sensor built into the power button. So frankly, all we need is microSD memory card support to expand the storage, and then every other smartphone from 2022 can get right in the bin, and then we can hoy that bin in the sea and then just set fire to the sea. And apparently Asus will be launching the Zenfone 9 on July the 28th, so not too long to wait at all now, kiddies, and I'm hoping to bring you a full unboxing and review and all of that good stuff. Here's hoping it comes in for a really competitive price as well. If it's about £600 or under, that would be absolutely lush, making it a really strong rival to the likes of the Pixel smartphones. This week also saw HMD whip up a couple of tasty new Nokia devices, including the usual rebooted classics that make old nostalgic twats like myself so excited that our frenzied thigh rubbing could potentially start dangerous fires. This time around we got a 4G version of the apparently stylish Nokia 8210 from 1999, available in blue, red and sand colours. HMD also rebooted the old 5310 feature phone as this here Nokia 5710 Express Audio, complete with updated specs, upgraded snake and a special secret surprise sneakily hidden in its back flap. I'm of course talking about a pair of true wireless earbuds so you can enjoy some top tunes no matter where you wander. Or alternatively, if you really want to irritate the fecal matter out of everyone else on your morning bus, you can just blast your music straight out of the device's built-in stereo speakers. And to replicate that authentic super chav experience, make sure you go for a hot bit of drum and bass action. The more repetitive and obnoxious, the better. Also launched was the Nokia 2660, a classic style flip phone packing some very similar specs to them other two, including a 2.8-inch QVGA screen, a Unisoc T10 processor backed by a whopping great 48 megs of memory, and 4G plus voice over LTE support. Frankly, I'm so excited I'm already starting to chafe. And last up, HMD also revealed another Nokia branded tablet, the T10, which is a dinkier version of the T20 it launched last year. €159 buys you 8 inches of pure joy, FNAF, as long as your idea of a good time is a stock Android device with quite basic specs and an LTE option. Bloody Nora. And there's also probably just about enough time before my throat gives way to say that Nubia also revealed its latest Red Magic 7S and 7S Pro gaming devices. And these thumb-wrecking game warriors are really taking it to the ROG Phone 6, powered once again by the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 with up to 16 gigs of memory in the standard model and 18 gigs in the Pro. Bloody hell, that is mental. And you've also got Nubia's Red Core 1 chip in there to deliver proper in-sync rumbly feedback and lighting effects. The 7S's 4500 mAh battery is boosted to 5000 mAh in the Pro version, still not quite as impressive as that ROG phone, although they do support wide charging well in excess of 100 watts. Toasty. And if you happen to be a fan of hyperactive man-child Michael Bay, you can also grab the 7S Pro in a special Bumblebee Out of Transformers edition. And that is more than enough hot nerd chat before I have to go limp my way upstairs and change my pants. So let's do it, let's crack on with viewer comments. Viewer comments. Right, so we've had a bit of feedback from the Xiaomi 12S series, which I featured last week, especially the 12S Ultra, of course, as the Captain Big Cock of the group. Paul says, I like the cooking hob camera bump. There you go, so it does have its fans, and I mean, fair play, it's certainly distinctive, if nothing else. Rob K says, how in the name of all that is arseholy is that mother of a camera lens on the 12S Ultra going to stay scratch free? Will the phone come with some sort of case that comprises a lens cap? Yeah, hopefully it's like Gorilla Glass or some other tough as balls coating so it doesn't get scratched up, because the last thing you want is to spunk out $1,000 or so on a smartphone and then, yeah, the camera, which is the main frickin' thing of it, gets busted. Although, I don't know, maybe because it's such a big old camera watch and those lenses are actually kind of pushed towards the center a bit, maybe that'll help protect it when you just plonk the phone down on a desk or a table? Not really sure. You know, not a tech expert or anything, so couldn't really say. God, we've got more Jamaica I can't even f***ing speak anymore. We've got more Jamaica shenanigans going on. Michael King sends his love from Jamaica. Hi, Michael, you bastard. John Paul Graham says, back home and back to reality after a week in Jamaica. Am I like the only bugger who hasn't been to Jamaica lately? Seriously, although I can't really complain because I did manage to snaffle a weekend in Belgium recently, which I absolutely adore Belgium. Drank an ill-advised quantity of violently strong beer. By the time I got around to this pirate ale in the evening, my focus was almost as bad as the friggin' cameras. Paul says, loving the orange t-shirt convict look, makes you look like John Malkovich in Con Air. I mean, that was 100% obviously what I was going for with that t-shirt right there, the really tough guy vibe. Don't leave me a shitty comment or I will end you! So last week we were reminiscing, as oft we do on this show, about the classic HTC flagship phones with their boom sound stereo speakers. I'm saying I think they were one of the first ones to sort of do that proper audio on a phone. Good point from this dude, says Nexus 6 also had really good front firing speakers. Yeah, absolutely great phone. I just loved all of the Nexuses. The Nexi? What is the plural of Nexus? And the Nexus 6 was definitely one of the quintessential ones as well. But I think that HTC did boom sound before the Nexus 6 came along. I'm gonna have to Google this, of course, because my memory is right, so the One M7 was the first boom sound blower. Apparently that was launched on the 19th of February 2013. That's almost a friggin' decade ago. I mean, shag me sideways, that is absolutely terrifying. The tagline was apparently, everything your phone isn't. I mean, come on Google, that is iPhone levels of wankitude right there. Don't be Apple, please don't ever be Apple. The Nexus 6 came along in 2014, so a year later. So yeah, so the question remains, did another smartphone manufacturer do proper front fire and stereo speakers before HTC? Because I don't think they did. I think they were pioneers in that area, don't you know? Next up, Hyacinth Lovely says, I'd much rather watch your videos than turn in an essay on American history. I mean, that is kind of like saying I'd rather watch your videos than nail my head to a plank of wood, but f it, I'll take it. But remember kiddies, stay in school and study hard, otherwise you'll probably end up like Muggins here, a socially incompetent borderline alcoholic who has a pretend job. Next up, Martin Heathcote says, how do you get all this tech with so few subscribers, and where does all this tech go to? Well, Martin, I actually am the inventor of spandex and therefore a multi-billionaire, so I could basically just buy all the tech that I want, do whatever the hell I want all the time. It's awesome. Can't you tell how rich I am from my stylish wardrobe, my luxurious surroundings, and my posh accent? No, sadly, it's nothing as exciting as that. I basically just worked my tits off as a very poorly paid tech journalist for just over 10 years, making as many PR contacts as possible so I could source in review kit. The pay was but the free bars were plentiful, so I essentially sustained myself on free canapes and Peroni for the best part of a decade. Next up, Neil says, morning daddy spurt, I'm on my hollybobs at the moment, staying in a shepherd's hut in the arse end of nowhere. Sounds charming. I was just working my way through the first litre bottle of JD of the day and staggered my way to this week's video. Well, it's not quite Jamaica, but it would definitely work. I just wanted to say I've never had a man crush before in my life. That sparkly bald head, those dead eyes. Anyway, if you fancy a bit of man-on-man action, hit me up. I mean, I am very flattered, sir, but I get the feeling that's probably just the JD talking. And next up, Adam says, Chris, when will you be receiving the new Sony Xperia models, the 1 Mark IV and the 10 Mark IV? It's been a while since their official launch, especially the 1. Unfortunately, only Sony Mobile can really answer that question. Apparently, I am on the list to receive a review unit of the Xperia 1 Mark IV and the Xperia 10 Mark IV, but so far, frankly, they've been dragging their arse worse than an Alsatian with wormy guts. So far, they only seem to be dishing it out to YouTubers who will basically pull a phone out of a box and rattle off the specs, and that's about it. Make of that what you will. Next up, Tiger May Fury says, any scoop on the supposedly and allegedly planned Xperia 5 Mark IV? Yeah, so lots of people complaining that they didn't launch the Xperia 5 Mark IV at the same time as the 1 and the 10, but they never usually do. It's always towards the end of the year, so it'll probably be more likely September, October time if they do launch it, and it won't be anything particularly shocking. It'll be the Xperia 1 Mark IV, but in a more compact form factor, which I prefer. You won't have the ridiculous pointless 4K screen, you'll have the Full HD screen instead. They're pretty much all the same features and specs apart from that, so yeah, hopefully that'll be coming along later in 2022. Next up, Baz Anime says, go for the Hyundai Ioniq 5, it is the best non-Tesla mid-range EV. Yeah, the Ioniq is definitely tempting too, but you know, regardless of which EV you plumb for, it's going to be a wait of a good few months, and I'm not even really sure my liver can hold out that long. Next up, Ryan says, really looking forward to your review of the Nothing Phone 1. At least I know we'll get an honest review. It'll be better than the iPhone SE 2022, right? Right? I mean, Jesus, the only way the Nothing Phone could possibly be worse than the iPhone SE 2022 is if those flashy bits around the arse end actually electrocute you every time they go off, or they just frazzle your brain so much that you eventually end up curled up on the floor in a pool of all of your bodily fluids. And even then, I'd probably still take it over an iPhone. Next up, Amos says, hey, can you review Samsung tablets, most notably the S8 Ultra? Possibly. We've got kind of an avalanche of smartphones and other bits coming in at the moment, especially with IFA just lingering there terrifyingly on the horizon at the arse end of August, but I'll certainly try my best. Next up, Jackson Michelle says, investing in crypto right now should be in every wise individual's list. In some months' time, you will be ecstatic with the decision you made today. Well, there you go, kiddies. Jackson, who is absolutely 100% a real-life person and definitely not a spam bot or anything like that, says that investing in crypto is a good idea right now. What could possibly go wrong? Seems like old Jackie has got lots of replies. Chad Michael says, anyone looking to invest in crypto / the Forex market should get in touch with him. Amelia Earhart says, hello, what is the best way to get started with crypto trading with experts Mr. George Robert? Hang on, who's Mr. George Robert? Lady Clip says, I also really want to learn step by step how to start being part of this crypto, how to buy and sell. Thank you so much, Mr. George Robert. Who's Mr. George frickin' Robert? Not entirely sure these spam bots are all there, to be honest. Okay, this noise. Mark as spam, so then YouTube can just ignore it and on we f***ing go. Stubby Box says, I'm now torn between the Oppo Find X5 Pro and the Xiaomi 12S Pro. Only thing is the security updates. Is there anything you can do after the security updates come to an end? Well, with the 12S Pro, don't forget you've got the added ball ache of importing it from China as well. It doesn't look like it's going to be launched anytime soon in the UK, so you've got that extra faff. As for the security updates, well, when the phone is stopped being supported by a manufacturer, you can mess around with sideload and all kinds of manual update shenanigans, but essentially, once they finish the updates, that's it. And it's recommended that you don't continue to use the phone much longer beyond that, because then obviously the longer you use it, the more vulnerabilities that will pile up on the phone, the easier it is for someone to hack in and nick all your data and just generally be a Bug says, hey Uncle Spurt, should I hold out for the iPhone 14 or save up for the iPhone 13 mini? Well, long-term fans will know, of course, the iPhone 13 mini is my favourite of the bunch. It only makes my heart sink a little bit rather than plunge straight into my pelvis. Now, the mini is alright. I mean, it is overpriced Apple junk as always, but, you know, it's a really solid all-round smartphone. I love the compact size of it. The camera's more than good enough for most people. It's got enough performance. The battery life's okay, despite the fact it's got that smaller stature. If you're dead set on an iPhone, if you really must get one, then iPhone 13 mini all the way. The iPhone 14 series, I can't see being much of an upgrade at all. That'll be a very incremental update over the 13 series. Although, hey, they might finally ditch the stupid mustache notch, you never know. And I bet maybe this is one of the last comments because we're massively running out of time as always. August from Borneo says, not here for tech stuff this week. I'm just wondering which dark or black beers will you choose to be your companion? Rank them from 3 to 1. Alright, so which dark beers are my favourites, or stouts and porters and all that kind of stuff, I guess. And that's really bloody tough, man, because there are a lot of good stouts and darker beers around right now. I really enjoyed the Hercule Poirot beer that I had in Belgium. There was some solid label action there, so great first impressions. And as far as I can remember, it was smooth and delicious. Although I was about 5 or 6 deep at this point, I think, and of course it's violently strong Belgian beer, and couple that with my piss poor tolerance, and memory's a little bit hazy. Also, Hamilton Brewery do an awesome peanut butter stout called Crunch, I think it is, just Crunch, nice and simple, and that is absolutely delicious. It's brilliant towards the end of the night when you want something that's a little bit different. You know, it's not sweet like some stouts can be, although I don't mind, you know, a marshmallow stout or a biscuit stout or whatever else. And Adnams Brewery over in Norfolk, they also do a really nice stout as well, which for the life of me, I can't remember the friggin' name of it, but it's a good one. And all this chat is really making me want a beer, so yeah, I better sign off in a second. Just one last comment. David Davis says, as cute as your daughter is, I miss the old next week jingle. So you know what? It's Friday, let's do both. Next week, what the f is next week?
This is about next week.
And next week it is all kicking off, so we've got lots of stuff going on. So for instance, we've got some Motorola phones coming in. The G62 and the G82 will be landed at TechSpert Tower, so stay tuned for unboxings of those. We've also, of course, got the massive Google Pixel 6a launch on the Thursday, so stay tuned for a fair bit of coverage on that wee bugger. And there'll be lots of other tasty tech tidbits as well, so stay tuned for all of that. Please do poke, subscribe, and ding that notifications bell if you haven't already to be the first to see all of that sexy shenanigans. And have yourselves a gorgeous, fantastic, amazing weekend, whatever you're doing, whether you're in the arse end of nowhere drinking JD and staring at my shiny head in an aroused state, or buggering off to Jamaica like half the friggin' populace by the sides of it. Have an awesome one. Thanks again for watching this shower of shit, and see you next week. Bye!